This video is sponsored by Squarespace.
Hello, my name is Sara Dietschy, rhymes with Peachy. Welcome to another video. Today we're talking all things cameras, computers, and video editing programs. If you guys don't know by now, my all-time favorite camera, as of right now, is a Sony A7S III. It has everything that you would ever want in a mirrorless camera in a very small body. The only downside is those XAVC codecs. See, we now have 10-bit 422, which means yay, pretty colors, right? A wide spectrum of colors, but that means that a lot of people are rethinking their computer situation. They're like, interesting. Struggling with these codecs, not just with the Sony A7S III, but I hear the Canon R5 has a very compressed codec that some people struggle with. So that leads to using proxy workflows. I'm sure a lot of you guys are familiar with that, but I'm done with proxies. No more proxy workflows. I just want to take the footage from the card, put it straight to my computer and start editing. I think we've gotten really spoiled over the past 4 to 5 years where we've had this perfect harmony of cameras and computers, and we don't have to do that. If you've been video editing long enough, I guess we have to go back a decade, maybe a little bit over a decade. Final Cut Pro, wow, usually I'm that person who's like young for what I'm doing, so the fact that I just said that makes me sad. Anyways, over a decade ago, I was using Final Cut Pro 7 in my high school. And it's crazy to think back at this because if you took a clip and you resized it or you put any kind of effect on it, you would have to sit there and re-render it every single time if you wanted to press play and see the footage back. If you're new to video editing, that probably just seems like unfathomable, but that's how it used to be, which is crazy, right? So I understand where we've been and where we're going, but with that said, I have been spoiled and I do not want to transcode, I do not want to proxy, I don't want to do any of that. So I changed a lot of my workflow, and it all started with the A7S III because I'm like, I'm not changing my camera, I love that camera. So I updated my desktop computer. You guys know I was on the PC at the office, but once I started working at my apartment a lot, I got that iMac 5K. Super spec'd out. It did a really great job for me for like a year when I was still using the Sony A7 III. But once I started to hit it with that 4K XAVC 422 10-bit, yeah, it was struggling, couldn't play it back. So I started a proxy workflow until I just couldn't take it anymore. And I actually reached out to Puget PC and I was like, hey guys, listen, can you build me the ultimate PC and I will share it on my content here live? And 6 months later, thanks for having some patience, Puget, with me, because it was also the catalyst for switching video editing programs. So as I've kind of like switched a lot of my gear, I've also completely switched like my entire workflow to Resolve. Dun, dun, dun. Yeah, I never thought that would happen. I've been like a Premiere gal for a while. Should I say a decade again? Oh my gosh, if that wasn't the shot, that was a box of Cheez-Its. Did Cheez-Its just ruin my shot? That is hilarious. That's embarrassing. I was editing, okay? The Cheez-Its are a great combo with late night editing. John is now using the iMac 5K and it's working wonderfully for him. So he has an A7S III as well, but he just records in 1080. So that can handle that footage. It doesn't matter if it's HSS or I. It can handle all of it. So let's talk about what has been at the center of my desk, the center at my workflow for the past half a year. And this custom Puget PC is epic. It really is my dream PC. It has a 32-core AMD Threadripper, an RTX 3080, heyo, and 128 gigs of memory. And then we have the 2 SSDs, you know, the one where all my programs are on, and the other where I keep a lot of video footage. And ooh, it has been amazing. And I will tell you where it just really shines is the days that I have to upload a video. I'm telling you, I have like Resolve open, sometimes Premiere open, Photoshop, Lightroom, a ton of Chrome tabs, just so many programs. It's actually insane, you know, editing a thumbnail, doing this, doing that, that's exporting. And just the multitasking in between like 10 different creative programs, I'm used to like, I got like 7 of them pulled up, half of these are gonna crash. And it's like, I just don't even have to worry about everything that I have pulled up. It's insane, it's insane. It's like, I get to work at the speed that my brain is going and I don't get stopped for being like, got too many Chrome tabs. Why do you have Premiere and Resolve open at the same time? That is not allowed. So that has definitely been the best part of this machine is, you know, something I think a lot of people say about Macs a lot of the time, but now I get to say it about this beautiful, amazing desktop PC. Well, things just work. They just work for my creative workflows with video, which is like hard, right? So if you're looking to upgrade your desktop or maybe move to a desktop, that was probably one of the best investments I made early on in my creative career when I was actually making money making videos. Was I ditched the laptop. You still have to have a laptop, but investing in a good desktop was like, it was a game changer. I wasn't all of a sudden troubleshooting every single day for like an hour because, you know, sometimes laptops just get overwhelmed. They're so thin nowadays. They're so good and thin, and we love it. But there are moments that you're just like, well, everything just crashed. Okay, let's start over. So obviously the best part about PCs is they're customizable, right? I definitely need that middleman like a Puget PC who can help me and give me advice, because I just say, oh, well, just give me the best of everything. Get me the AMD 64-core processor, because why not? More is always better. And they were like, well, Sarah, I think you're gonna have better luck with the 32-core, still a lot of, you know, bang for your buck. But once you get into that like crazy 64-core range, like a lot of applications aren't even built for that. So you're probably going to have more of a headache with compatibility. And at the end of the day, that's not worth it, because that's not why you're building, you know, a crazy PC. The RAM, 128 gigs, that just kind of seemed absurd. Dare I say, I use it. Like, yay. 128 gigs of RAM, never going back. And this is so important for my video editors out there. You guys know that I'm not like a crazy PC builder, like going into the weeds with all these benchmarks, but for my creative types out there, if you're ever in Premiere or Resolve, anything to do with video editing, and this might be different for other applications, so don't be mad at me, go with an NVIDIA graphics card. With Premiere, having that CUDA renderer is just, it's so important. So if anyone ever tries to, you know, build you a PC with AMD graphics, just like, nah, and you use Premiere, just go with NVIDIA. I know it's so hard to find freaking graphics cards right now for a reasonable price if you're building your own, but I think that's what is kind of an advantage right now of going to maybe these third parties who can not just help you in the process of what you need to get in your PC, but they also get graphics cards for reasonable prices. So yeah, don't spend over $2,000 on a graphics card, because you can go and build an entire computer for that. Okay, so let's get back to the whole Sony A7S III thing and new camera codecs and how fun they are. Okay, I have my dream PC. Everything's going great. I'm starting to play Cyberpunk and realizing I'm terrible with a mouse and keyboard. But then I learned that you can plug in your Xbox controller into your PC, and now I'm playing Halo and I'm not going back, and it's so fun. Anyways, I have my dream PC, I'm in Premiere, and the scrubbing and going through my A7S III footage has improved. It has improved, but it's still not that buttery smooth that I'm used to when I use the A7 III, not the A7S III, but the A7 III. And you're like, well, yeah, that wasn't 422 10-bit. But then I was like, okay, I didn't understand that that was gonna be such a difference on my computer, right? So I started doing the proxy workflow, and it was working better than it was on my iMac, because I could render out those proxies just super quick, right? And when each of your videos are like 50 gigs to 100 gigs, I mean, that's a lot of footage to burn through. So having something that can make proxies really quick in Media Encoder is, you know, still an amazing plus. If you're a Premiere user and you've never used proxy workflows, it's literally as easy as selecting your footage, right-clicking, make proxies. It's gonna do that in Media Encoder. And you don't even import the proxies back into your project. It's just automatically linked. And then you can use this button below your player where you can toggle the proxies on and off, which is really handy because you're going to edit with the proxies, and say you're doing something with coloring the footage, then you can toggle the real footage back on, see how it looks, okay, it's looking good, and then toggle it back. So here's a small comparison of how long it takes to export the proxies on my $4,000 iMac versus how long it now takes on my Puget PC, which I think was like 5 to 6K, which is still pricey, a pricey build out, but it's like the ultimate. And what I would argue as being the more important thing is, well, scrubbing your footage. So here is 4K XAVC S footage from the Sony, which is kind of in the middle of it being compressed. So this is me scrubbing on my iMac 5K. So as you can see, there is that delay when you press the space bar and the footage actually playing. And then here is it being played back in Premiere on my Puget PC. So as you can tell, this PC isn't just quicker, but it also does a better job with playback. But once you start putting on like a lot of layers, effects, or color grading, it really does start to struggle. And that's what led me down the path of searching Premiere and XAVC 4.2 10-bit. And yeah, it's not even, I don't know, it's hard to find an answer from Premiere if they even support that footage, and that would explain why it's like not playing back very well, right? And once I saw that, I was like, okay, look, Sarah, you've used Resolve before. In fact, you've used it for 30 days in this video. Why don't you just try it with this footage? And wow, yeah, it was buttery smooth, like all of the codecs. And that's the end of the video. Okay, no.
So if you're watching this video, odds are you run a creative business or you want to. Well, thank you so much, Squarespace, for sponsoring this video, because wow, have they been there for me. From building an online portfolio for my YouTube channel and making sure I'm putting the best foot forward for my sponsors or the people who potentially want to work for me in the future. Man, there are so many great templates to just get started, and it's so easy to make. But recently, I started a new business, bookblanco.com. And it's a rental studio located in Grapevine, Texas. And I'm telling you, Squarespace has so many amazing tools to use, like scheduling. See here, guys, we'll do a little Blanco update for you. Basically, if you run workshops or do rental studios or anything that has to do with scheduling, just Squarespace makes it so easy. And look, guys, we're really booking up. We have a lot of clients, and also it just works really well with third parties. So we also rent our space on Peerspace, and guess what? You can sync the calendars, so I can do everything from Squarespace. I can see, okay, I have a Peerspace booking today, I have a Squarespace booking tomorrow. All of the information, payment stuff is synced, and it really is the one-stop shop for everything. So whether you want to build an amazing portfolio, you're a photographer, videographer, designer, Squarespace is the place. Or you're running an e-commerce brand, or just all of the things. It made it so easy, and it was cool to design a website on Squarespace two years later after designing my personal portfolio, and see how much the site has grown and all of the tools that you have access to. And basically the way you build a website is in these blocks, and it's just so easily laid out and easy to choose what you want. All you have to do is fill in the content and you're ready for business. So if you want to check out, go to squarespace.com for your free trial, and when you're ready to get going, you can go to squarespace.com/Sara Dietschy, that's me, for 10% off your first purchase of a domain or website. My arm, wow, I haven't done this like vlogging thing where I just hold the camera in a while, and wow, my arm hurts. I'm glad we got through that together. Okay, back to the video.
Okay, so I want to show you how all of these codecs play through in Resolve and Premiere in this PC, so you can kind of understand, like, you know, what are the trade-offs. But before we do that, let's break down what these actual codecs mean. And I think this is going to help especially the people who have an A7S III, but anyone who makes videos and records videos. Okay, so I have some A7S III footage right here that we're gonna go through, but before we do that, so we're all on the same page, I wanna go through the different codecs real quick. I wrote down over here on my whiteboard desk about what we shot in. So XAVC, that is Sony's codec for 4K. Now they do license XAVC to other companies, but usually specific camera companies have their own ways of compressing the footage that's coming from your camera. It's how, you know, the colors and the pixels and everything is stored and recorded. So XAVC, that is the codec, and then it splits off into these three different versions of XAVC. You have HS, S, and SI. So this is the order I shot in that you'll see in Premiere and Resolve. And as you go from top to bottom, it's actually hardest to edit at the top and least hard on the bottom when it comes to actually editing this footage on your computer within Premiere, Resolve, or whatever editor that you're using. And then from bottom up, you're gonna get the largest file size here at the XAVC SI, all the way up to the top. HS is going to be the smallest file size, which means it's going to be the most compressed, and your computer is going to have the hardest time actually going through that footage editing. And then just to painfully oversimplify what 422 10-bit means, think of the 10-bit or 8-bit as the color depth. So if you're going from 8-bit to 10-bit, 10-bit has more shades of RGB, more shades of color that can be presented in the video. So you can push the color grading farther, and your image is going to look better when you're shooting in something like log. So you're just gonna have more shades of blue, more shades of red available to you when shooting in 10-bit. And And then when it comes to those numbers 422, you can just think of that as the actual quality of those colors. So when it comes to those light and color values, just the quality will be better of those when shooting in 422 opposed to 420. Okay, so we got the boring stuff aside. Let's actually look at the footage. Okay, so we have these 5 different 4K clips that I just shot from HS all the way to SI. Remember the different XAVC codecs from the A7S III. Now, the codec that I usually prefer is XAVC-S 4K 42 10-bit. Now, I feel like this is the perfect blend with quality and file size, but boy oh boy does it have a hard time in Premiere. And this is something that I really first noticed. Okay, we're starting in the middle here. Let's start with that XAVC-S 4K. And what you'll notice is you're gonna be kind of jealous because on the iMac 5K, oh my gosh, this wouldn't even play, and on this computer in Premiere, it does a pretty good job. Now, it's playing at half playback speed in Premiere, and this little dot here, if it goes yellow or red, that is going to indicate that it's dropping frames. So if it's green, it's not dropping frames. So just playing through S4K 422 10-bit. But as you can tell, watch me, you'll hear me pressing the space bar. And there is a little bit of a delay with this 422 10-bit XAVC-S. See that? A little bit of a delay. A little bit of a delay, which guys, like, it seems like a small bit, but that is a big deal when editing. And this was kind of the start of being like, I wonder how this does in Resolve, which we'll get to. But here we go. Sped up, we're dropping frames, but it's still playing, looks good, playing at half back speed, pausing it, play, pause, play, double time. Okay, not bad. But you'll see instantly when we go over to XAVC-S 4K 420 8-bit, it just gets a lot more snappy. So there is a big difference in between that 8-bit and 10-bit when it comes to playing back on a machine. So when it comes to pausing and playing back, it's like instant. Double time, speed, stop, fast, 2 times fast. Beautiful. You can see the CPU, it's working somewhat. So even still on this beast of a machine, if you're not using proxies, I would definitely go for the 420 8-bit, because when you're just trying to edit quickly, right on the timeline, the stutters and the drop frames just doesn't work, and that's why I've actually been doing a lot of proxy workflow before I switch to Resolve. But you know, here I'll put the 422 10-bit next to the 420 8-bit right here, and you can tell me if you see that color difference. This is becoming like a A7S III codec video. Okay, S is kind of that middle ground in terms of compression, right? Let's go to HS. So HS, you have these smaller file sizes, but it is the most difficult for a computer to edit it and play back. So here we got HS 4K 422 10-bit right here. So let's press play. It's playing back well, but there is drop frames. I would say that, I don't know, I don't use HS that much, but it's actually playing back the same as the S on this computer, if not maybe a little bit better. So this computer is just doing a great job playing it back. And then let's go over to HS 4K 420 10-bit. So you keep the 10-bit, but this is 420. Just scrubbing through, we're using 73%, 79% of that AMD 32 core processor. It is really working hard over there. So let's see, play. HS4. Stop. 10-bit. 2 times fast. It does a great job with this footage, with this setup, with Premiere A7S III and a really heavy-duty PC editing machine. This HS 4K 420 10-bit would be the blend of the best worlds. So you have small file sizes on your SD card. You have that color depth of 10-bit, and if you have a decent PC, it's gonna play back fine in Premiere. Even though right there's a little bit of delay, but really when you get going 2 times, it plays much better than S422 10-bit, and then also HS 422 10-bit. And now we'll go down to the 4K SI. This is going to take up the most storage when you copy over your footage to the SSD. Big file sizes, right? But it's going to look the best. It's going to be the ultimate quality. You have that high bit rate, 240, 422, 10-bit, and it's going to be so smooth on your machine when editing. 422, 10-bit. Super smooth. There's not a lot of compression. When you press play and pause, it starts and stops without hesitation. There's no drop frames, it's just green. 2 times fast, 3 times fast, 4 times fast, and then pausing. It's just instant, right? So this format has a big file size, but it's easy to edit because your camera is basically taking like the full picture every frame of your image. There's like almost no compression at all, and that's why it plays back really easy. Okay, so now we're in Resolve. We got a 4K timeline going. Gonna drop all of the clips. Might be harder to see, but up here is where it shows the drop frames. If you can see the green versus the red. You might not be able to see it, but I'll just shout it out for you. We're gonna again start in the middle with XAVC S 4K 422 10-bit, because this is, again, my sweet spot codec if I can use it, but Premiere was really struggling with it. And then I brought it into Resolve, and guys, it's just like, it's game over. So we are playing at half resolution, but yeah, I'll just play this through. So we'll start 2 times speed, stopping, instant start and stop. We're gonna fast forward, instant, 2 times speed. Okay, it's dropping frames now. Let's just make a cut, fast forward, ripple, no drop frames when playing back. So the fact that it plays back so well just from the start, once you start adding color grading and effects, you know, it doesn't come to a crawl like it does in Premiere. Again, in Premiere, I just kept using a proxy workflow. So, you know, I was just very pleased with how Resolve handles 422 10-bit footage. It does a great job. And then if you step it down a little bit, this is the 4K S420 8-bit, which it plays even smoother. 2 times speed, 3 times fast. Gonna pause it, gonna play it. So super buttery with that. Let's go to the HS footage. So HS is the most compressed and the hardest for a computer to chop through. So this is HS 4K 422 10-bit. So theoretically, this should be the hardest for a computer to play back. And again, no proxies, no anything. And Resolve and this awesome Puget computer. Okay, it did stutter a little bit right there, but they're just like crushing the footage. I could just edit with this footage like normal. I wouldn't have to proxy it, and I would get those small file sizes. Play, no hesitation, pause. Okay, so when you go 3 times speed, that's when you get those drop frames. So it's not perfect, but it's pretty impressive. So HS 4K 420 10-bit, which again might be that sweet spot. You still get the 10-bit color range, but you know, 420, it just makes it like way easier to edit. And last but certainly not least, SI 4K 422 10-bit, which looks great, but big file size and just super easy to run through in your editor. So I want to open up one of these Resolve projects where I'm using XAVC S 4K 422 10-bit footage in Resolve on this beast of a Puget PC to really show you how smooth it is even throughout color grade and everything. Okay, I'm going to expand this timeline here. As you can see, there's a lot going on. So we have several tracks of audio, different video. This is shot with a Sony A7S in 4K, and we're just cruising through the timeline. Can toggle the color up here. I actually use the film convert plugin. There's screen recordings. Resolve does such a better job with screen recording. Like Premiere just hates screen recordings. So there's zooming in, 3 times. So there's B-roll. starting and playing, no drop flames. But yeah, as you can tell, I'm kind of moving around the footage, playing it back. As you can see, playing back the footage, the GPU is actually doing something during playback. So you actually have a little bit of that GPU acceleration that's helping out. There's more of a blend of the GPU and CPU working in Resolve, which you don't see in Premiere. Premiere only does that with certain codecs. Okay, so now I'm in just a super healthy relationship with all of my gear. I'm not pounding my desk every single day because things are crashing, whether it's from my computer or whether it's Premiere. That was almost like an everyday occurrence, actually. And in terms of the codecs that I shoot with, well, now that I have a computer and a video editing software that can handle it, I have stuck with my XAVC S422 10-bit. I feel like that's a great middle ground. It saves me space with my SD cards and my storage on my computer, but it's also not so compressed that the computer's gonna freak out. If you guys have any more questions about my workflow with the Sony A7S III, what I'm filming on right now, it has really been like my fave camera for a while. Ask me down in the comments below. And if you have any questions about my workflow with my computer, with Resolve, with video editing, I'm actually doing a live stream with Puget on this date. I don't have the exact date yet, but I'll add a link or something, and the link to my actual PC is also in the description below. However, I would challenge you, like, follow Puget on Twitter or Instagram, or check out their website and their blogs, because they really do a lot of great benchmarks and testing on what parts are the best for specific programs. And you know what, I'm not here saying, oh, get the 32 core, AMD processor and the most expensive graphics card, because guess what, you might not need it. And they are really good guys to help you to understand like what you need. Hey, you might not need this fancy $4,000 PC. How about these parts? But yeah, I'm gonna live stream with them and you guys can bring your questions. And yeah, I guess let's kick it to the outro where I talk a little bit more about Resolve, and maybe I can answer some Resolve questions. Yeah, kick it to Sarah a week ago when I filmed this video the first time and I butchered this full first half. This is like my 5th time filming this, so I'm hoping it's the last time. Okay, so listen, as someone who has been using Premiere religiously for like 6 to 7 years, there's still some things that, of course, I prefer in terms of workflow in Premiere opposed to Resolve. But for everything that I like in Premiere over Resolve, there's something in Resolve that I like over Premiere. So it kind of balances out there, but where the scale really tips towards Resolve is it's not crashing. It is just so consistently good. It doesn't crash. It plays back the footage of the cameras that I'm using right now smoothly. And at the end of the day, when this is my job to get videos out to you people in a timely manner, I just do not have the time. Premiere was ultimately costing me more time and resources than it would cost me to just set aside time every day to really learn a new video editing program. So it's like crazy that it went to that level, but it did. So a few things that I like better, and I've covered this in another video that a lot of you guys watched when I switched over to it a couple years ago. I love media management in Resolve, how when you add a new video or assets to your folder in files, it just immediately pops up over in the media tab, and then you can just scroll through it like you're scrolling through Finder, play through the footage if you need to before importing, or you can just instantly click over to the media tab and just grab that new asset that you added and instantly add it in your project. It's a little bit more clunky in Premiere, You have to find the file that you want to import that you added to your files every single time, and it just takes a longer time. And there's no window like in Resolve and Final Cut that you can sit there and like play through footage before you import it. So I'm a big fan of that. And something that I love is just the controls, like right at the window in Resolve, where you can easily just resize the clip really quick. I love that dynamic zoom is a thing where you can just click one button and it does the Ken Burns on a video or a picture just with, again, one button. And all of that stuff like crop, zooming, stabilization, etc. is already in the files effects area. So you don't have to go to effects and drag and drop the effects. Like, no, it's already there. The things that you use most are already there, and with a click of a button, you can apply it to a clip. So I think they really do a good job of saying, hey, what are video editors doing the most? And let's just go ahead and get them there quicker by already adding it in those settings. So yeah, I enjoy color grading without adjustment layers. I basically just do a group pre-clip where I group similar footage together, and then I can go in there and add my color grade to all of the similar clips just with using that group pre-clip thing. That's really cool. So yeah, maybe I'll make like a full video like comparing the two, because I'm so in these ecosystems now, and I actually still do use Premiere for some things because there's just some things that I still like over there. But yeah, this is probably a bigger deal than I'm making it seem, just because, you know, I feel like I've kind of been such a big proponent for Premiere. So it's kind of depressing. But yeah, I'm not gonna make some like clickbait title about switching, because I feel like everyone's been there, done that. It's gotten kind of old, right? And I still use Adobe products, so I don't want to just completely burn them, because they're still doing a great job. I obviously still have relationships with people there. I mean, I don't know if I will after this video. I hope I can, because I hope that they respect me and they respect my audience, you guys, because I tell the truth. And hopefully they respect that and will still talk to me, hopefully, after I've mentioned all of these things. So okay, geez, this video, wow. I started this video thinking that it was gonna be my entire desk tour and I was gonna talk about everything behind me, but this relationship between desktop computers, the camera you're using, and video editing programs just kind of hijacked the narrative. So I wanted to keep it all focused. So I hope you dorks enjoyed it, because that's the people who are left, because I know we really got in the weeds on this one. And yeah, I'll put all the links in the description below. If you're curious, check out Puget. Thank you so much for this PC. But yeah, that's about it. Okay, let me know if you like this video. Hit that subscribe button down below for new videos every single week. And until next time, y'all, okay, stay peachy. Okay, bye.